and we will make America great again. God bless you and good night. I love you.
Welcome back, guys, to FTD Facts. Now, this episode is a part 2 of a video that we did on this channel. Dave actually did a video about the changes that happened in America after Donald Trump was announced as the president-elect. However, those changes that he discussed weren't necessarily connected to Donald Trump specifically. In this episode, since Donald Trump is officially now the president of the United States, I'm going to give you the facts and share 10 things that have happened since the inauguration. Going into the second full week of presidency, already a ton of stuff has happened, so I'm just giving you 10. And before we get into the facts, I want to know, guys, so despite what is going on, do you think that the changes that Donald Trump is making is leading towards a better America or leading towards a worse America? Let me know down there and be honest. Okay, so his first executive order of his presidency that he signed was for the federal government to begin dismantling Obamacare. Now, this order instructs government agencies to waive, defer, grant exemptions from, or delay implementation of any provision or requirement of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, that could pose a financial burden on state drug companies, individuals, and insurers. And he said that this should be done to the maximum extent permitted by law. However, since Obamacare is set in regulation, Trump can't repeal that with an executive order. Now, probably the most controversial change that has happened so far is the ban of immigrants.
We must immediately suspend immigration from any nation that has been compromised by terrorism.
This executive order stops all immigration from Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, and Syria.
The executive order signed by President Trump is discriminatory on religion, and frankly quite disgusting.
Now, this ban was issued late on Friday, January 27th, 2017, and it led to a ton of widespread confusion about how the legalities are set up and how this thing is actually fully implemented.
Until such time as proven vetting mechanisms have been put in place, we don't want them in our country.
And a number of protests sprung up across America with the hashtag Muslim ban being used. Now, there is an interesting update to this. The federal court of the Eastern District of New York issued an emergency stay that stopped deportations by Donald Trump when he banned entry to the United States from those 7 majority Muslim countries that I just named. Now, there's people that have valid green cards and visas that were not in transit during the time that this took place, so they may be stuck in other countries right now, but at least they can breathe a little easy because now there's a little bit more of a time frame to stop this ban that was set up. Now, the ruling to have the stay set up to block the ban was filed by the ACLU on behalf of Hamid Khalid Darwish and Samir Abdulkhalik Al-Shawi, who were denied entry into the US when they landed at the JFK airport in New York City, and they were detained indefinitely by Customs and Border Patrol. Now, also, the US Refugees Admission Program was suspended for 120 days. This temporarily halts entry of refugees into the United States and instructs officials to determine additional screening to ensure that the refugees that have been accepted are not a threat to the United States at all. Also, Donald Trump set the cap of refugees to be allowed in the United States in 2017 to 50,000. Now, that's a huge drop from what Obama's limit was at 110,000 refugees a year. Now, this one may not come as a surprise, but Donald Trump has a lawsuit against him right now. There's a group of scholars and legal experts that filed a lawsuit against Trump for accusing him of violating the US Constitution by allowing his hotels and other businesses to accept payment from foreign governments. Now, this legal action was brought on by an organization called the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. Now, they seek a court order forbidding Donald Trump from accepting any payments like this because they allege that it's forbidden by the Constitution's emoluments clause. So they're saying, hey, Donald Trump, since you haven't divested from your businesses, if you're getting cash favors from foreign governments through people that stay at your properties or hotels or whatever, you're in violation there. I'm very interested to see how that one's gonna shape up. Now, let's talk about breaking records. Yeah, Donald Trump definitely breaking some records, but maybe not in a way that he wanted to. Now, the Women's March, which was an anti-Donald Trump protest that was aimed at standing up for women's rights, is actually now estimated to be the largest protest in American history. Now, based on the numbers calculated, the total amount of people estimated to have been protesting, not including protests in other countries, just in America actually, is estimated between 3.2 million and 4.2 million. At the time of filming this video, that number is not exact, but a more accurate number should be coming real soon. Now, the day of his inauguration, thousands of people marched in Washington, D.C., as well as different parts around the world, standing up for human rights, women's rights, and all of that. And around 700 marches happen worldwide. Now, Donald Trump has also withdrawn funding from organizations that offer abortions or discuss abortions. Now, this policy is from previous Republican administrations.
As you know, I'm pro-life, right? I think you know that. With exceptions, with the 3 exceptions.
What it does is that it blocks federal funding from international family planning organizations that either provide abortion or discuss abortion services with their clients.
A long-standing policy to ensure taxpayer dollars do not fund abortion services overseas.
The White House press secretary, Sean Spicer, he says that this would, and I quote, end the use of taxpayer dollars to fund abortion overseas, along with coercive abortion and sterilization practices. Now, this order goes a little bit further by also taking away money from those organizations that then could be privately funded. Alright guys, so you remember that wall that Donald Trump was talking about that he wanted to put up between the US and the Mexican border? Yeah, that is becoming a thing. Trump called on the Department of Homeland Security to take all appropriate steps to immediately plan, design, and construct a physical wall along the US-Mexico border using the best material and technology suitable for the construction. The US-Mexico border is 1,989 miles long, and there's already fences built along parts of the border. However, the US doesn't own all the land along the border, so what they would have to do is either seize the land or purchase the land from the owners and then deal with the construction of the wall. Now, Trump is continuing the construction of 2 very controversial pipelines. The first is a Keystone pipeline. Now, this pipeline is 1,179 miles long. It's being built running from Canada to America's Gulf Coast. The pipeline would carry petroleum. Now, its construction was halted back in 2015 by President Obama with concerns over how continuing the construction related to global climate change. Now, the second pipeline is the Dakota Access Pipeline. Now, this would carry crude oil from the state of North Dakota to other parts of the US. Now, there's been tons of protests about this pipeline after the Standing Rock Sioux tribe said that the pipeline affected their drinking water. So then after that, they were looking at alternative routes for the pipeline.
And if it's a yes, it's like, let's start building.
But Donald Trump has signed a memoranda to just renew their construction of the pipelines, regardless of any previous concern. Alright, so we're coming to the end of this video, and for our final fact, Donald Trump's net approval rating has dropped 8 points in just the first week after becoming president of the United States. On Sunday, January 22nd, 2 days after being sworn in, 45% of respondents said that they disapproved of Trump's job performance, and 45% approved. However, by Friday, January 27th, the percentage who disapproved rose to 50, and the percentage who approved dipped to 42. Definitely an interesting start to 2017 in the United States of America. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are about this down below in the comment section, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in here on FTD Facts. This is a new generation of class where we share the facts and we offer an open discussion. So don't be shy, let your voice be heard. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. The link to that is down below, and also if you have any requests for any future videos, let me know as well. Until next time, guys, I'm Leroy Kenton. Boom.